I decided the other day to build a plywood rack, and this is what I came up with. I ended up going with just 3-inch wide strips of plywood. Then I had some Luan, which I just put on either side, and eventually I'm planning on just throwing a face frame on here when I have material laying around for that. Each section it's an 8-foot section, end up being about 1.5, and then a 4-foot section, 2 pretty close to quarter sheet sections. These are divided in thirds, so I've got a lot of options there. But another thing I have a lot of is kind of narrow, something like 16-inch strips of 8-foot long material. And I really didn't want to shove them in with the full sheet compartment and have them be pushed to the back and not be able to get to them. So I decided to make this less deep. On average, most of the cutoff pieces I have that are shorter are not full length, and if they are, I'll just put them in the center compartments and stick the sheets in there standing upright. In the future, if I wanted to, I could simply add another section onto it and just keep expanding it, or I could add some kind of a vertical lumber storage for shorts or whatever I can come up with. But for now, I think this is going to solve the issues I was having for the most part, and we'll see what happens from there. Stick a board in here because I've got this gap between where the footing holds out the bottom of the cabinet. It'd be perfect for some of these sheets that aren't full height. So one of my next projects will be to take all these molding planes and a few other planes and fun hand tools and whatnot. And I'm thinking to put a shelf on that wall underneath that shelf. This mess of an area, I have this dust collector. I'm not sure if I'll leave this here. It may end up being moved over here. It may stay where it's at, but basically I would run some tubing to have a drop down to my planer with a flexi hose so I can move it out. I want to build a stand for that so that I can roll it and not drag it on the floor as I've been doing. It'll be awesome. Then I can run some tubing over to my router and have a drop tube right there. And yeah, that'll be sweet. So stay tuned for that eventually. So I've got this shelf made up here, and this is going to fit onto that wall partway down on those legs. And so it's all ready to mount. I've got temporary screws to hold it, made a couple blocks, and that's where all of these guys are going once I'm all set. So this will be exciting. It's day for re-laying out my shop. So I've got all the shorties on my desk here. Cleaned everything off of the miter saw station. Still don't know where to put a lot of these. Some of them are just going in a stack down there. And I ended up scooting my desk over to here. I'll show you why. When I had the concrete poured, this covers up a buried drain hole, I guess, that I can put a floor outlet as well as a piece of conduit, and both of them lead over to just above or just below the masonry over there. I'm going to feed an air hose, and I think wire's already in this pipe. All I need to do is install the outlet. So that'll be one of the next things I do. And the hope is to empty all this out of here and build some drawers in the future, though that may be sometime coming. This wall has yet to be insulated. See, I got insulation there and plastic, and I've got drywall sitting right here, so just need some time to do it. I moved my table from its normal position, which was back toward the door more, probably about where that cord is. The idea is the table saw is going to sit where that vacuum is. I'm going to have about 8 feet to the door, which is unfortunate. I was hoping for a bit more than that. Just in line with that table there would be perfect. And it may end up moving back there. Just already getting fairly tight by the stair. I might find it's not that big of a deal. If nothing else, I can always cut them up with a track saw. If I'm not heating my shop and it's a decent day, I can open the door for a minute and suffer and rip up my sheets. There's options, right? That's kind of how it is in a small shop. I wish I had 5 more feet. This whole area, this used to be where my miter saw was. Stack of wood, which I just had consolidated to about here, and when I emptied the miter saw station, that kind of built it out to here, but that's okay because I've gained all that room where the miter saw and stand were on the other side is now all over here. So it's kind of more fitting to have the material where the material goes and the saw where the saw goes. I ended up moving my steel cabinet, which just has a lot of miscellaneous things in here. I ended up hooking up my compressor, running that over to this wheel, which at the time this was kind of the only open spot I had to put it. That planer is probably going to be pushed right up against the dust collection. My hope is to build a rolling cart for that so that it can be quickly pulled out when needed and quick tucked away when I don't. Well, here's my shop. I hope you enjoyed seeing the progress. I know I have. It's been really exciting to finally get to this. I just have put aside a lot of things just due to health issues and work and whatnot. I'm just being too busy to really get in here and actually do the things I want. So it's good to finally get to it. Well, thanks for watching.